everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Kinky Politics. I am your host, Kai, and we are here again with the lovely Kirk Hastings, the executive producer of Kinky Politics. Crowd goes wild. Today we are talking about AI and automation being the future. Definitely an interesting subject, and I think one of the politicians who really sort of was, bringing this to light during his political campaigning for president was.
He wasn't a politician yet.
He wasn't even a politician.
No, he was
Andrew Yang.
Andrew Yang. He was a businessman.
Anyway, him
to be a.
Okay, him.
Yeah.
This was kind of like the forefront of his campaign was about AI and automation, and it's something I think that we don't talk about a lot. And one of the things that kind of like freaked me out about AI and automation are driverless cars, and I don't want that. I don't want that. I do not want that. I know that they're out there now, but it's freaky for me, the idea that a computer is driving, I've seen those movies. I can't remember even the name of that movie, but those movies where like the guy's like driving on the train tracks, or his car's driving on the train tracks, over the train tracks, and all of a sudden the car doors lock, the music turns off, an automated, Siri comes on and is like, driving now, or driving now, and the car just stops. And then he's like, oh my God, I'm trying to get out of the fucking car.
The train's coming.
And the train's coming and he dies, Yeah, so.
The computer goes rogue.
Yeah.
Siri goes rogue.
Yeah, there's so many of those movies that include those.
There's a lot.
Yeah, and now, they've got them on the road. And who's, it's like, I always think to myself, like, when my dad introduced me for the first time to cruise control, I'm like, I can't, I don't want to use cruise control.
Really?
No.
Wow.
No, I was so against using cruise control.
I love cruise
my dad
control.
would say all the time too, we were talking about like, use cruise control, stay at 60.
Yeah.
Don't worry,
It takes, so on certain road trips, like it depends where you're driving and what terrain, but if you're on a straight freeway or a pretty straight road, like, it makes a whole lot easier.
Yeah, it does. And
especially if you got sore ankles like mine, like constantly like that, your ankle gets really tired.
No.
I know. So, and you can still in cruise control, you can still change the speed on the dial, on the steering wheel. You just press the button, it goes up and down, it slows it down.
Yeah.
So you can still sort of have some control.
Yeah. No, I don't want a button. Okay, yeah. I don't want a button regulating my. Oh no, and I also want to have the control. I want to have the. I'm gonna.
Does this show?
There's lack of control.
Is this a little bit of personality inside?
Might be. Might be. Control. But it is freaky for me, this idea that computers are. Computer, automation, AI, all of that is just the future. And one of those things is driverless cars. Like, I know that that's going to be a thing, and I know that more and more cars are going to be driverless.
It's already a thing, isn't it? Like in LA, I've been in LA for a little bit now. Yeah. Have you been in a driverless car or seen them on the road? Like I know Tesla they've got the feature of the driverless option now,
right,
on a lot of Teslas.
Right. I haven't seen them on the road, but I haven't been looking for them either. Yeah. And honestly, if I saw one, I'm sure I would just turn a corner because I don't even want to be near a driverless car. The idea that a human being is not controlling it is really unsettling for me. And I know that I'm of a population, I'm of a community of people who agree that losing control of directing the course of your life, for me, that's what it is not particularly comforting. I don't know what your thoughts are on these types of issues.
Look, I don't mind it. I actually like the idea of it, but it's the crossover period until we get there where we've got, half of the population driving and then the other half with driverless cars, which is going to be messy. I feel like you can't avoid it. Like that's going to be so when you get into accidents, who's in the wrong, how do you prove it, and all that seems so messy. But if we're all on driverless, the whole system, I quite like the idea, because the simple math and everything is it's going to be so much safer. There's going to be less accidents.
Really?
Yeah. The computer programs are so much better than it's already now. They're so much better than actual drivers, safer. But when everyone's on it, it's going to be even safer. So it's going to be so much safer to travel in a car, because it's actually quite dangerous driving in a car at the moment. Like all the statistics of getting into accidents and injuries, it's a risk. So it's like it will be so safe. It's also less stressful. Like I find it extremely stressful driving in certain environments or times of days, or
shoot,
traffic.
I'm gonna be stressed out the other way.
I'd rather kick back, relax, do some work. You can do some work in there, or be creative, or just chill, meditate, whatever you want to do on the trip. So that's so nice. Have a drink. I don't know, whatever you want to do. And so it seems such a more civilized, nicer way to get around. It's just until we get to that moment where everything's automated, it's going to be a bit hectic and a bit like, I feel that it also. Oh, sorry. Yeah. No, go ahead.
Okay. Are you sure?
Yeah.
All right. Sorry about
Because my next thing is like off a little bit.
Okay.
Off that.
I feel that it asserts that computers are smarter than human beings. And I just don't think that's true.
Yeah. Look, they're not.
They may be more consistent than human beings.
It's interesting. I'm not sure about the latest, because there's always this thing about chess and about the latest computer playing against the world's best chess player. And who's winning.
Yeah. I've seen that too.
I forget what happened with the latest match, but there was one recently. Okay. And who won. But that's really interesting. I still think the human won.
Yeah.
But when it comes to like mundane tasks, which is driving, computers are smarter because they don't turn off. They don't make that human error. Like also there's error within computer programs, but it's small. Whereas
the margin of error is smaller.
Where
that's the difference.
Where humans,
they're fallible. They're more fallible.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason why the driverless cars are safer, because humans can be like, "Oh, I'm tired," fall asleep at the wheel. "Oh, I've had some drinks. I shouldn't be driving. I just zoned out. I wasn't paying attention." Like, we've all had those brain farts when we've been driving, and we're like, "Wow, that shit, did I do that?" Or you're like, you correct it just in time. You're like, "Whoa, that was close. Like, what was I, thinking?" So computers don't really have, like, obviously nothing's perfect, but they and it's not really about intelligence. It's driving. It's about following the rules, and the computers can follow the rules.
Yeah, but then it's like I think about too, some of my favorite movies, which I'm sure I've told you, and I don't care how lame I sound saying this. I love Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams. Okay, about the machine who had a personality and the whole thing, and it was this whole thing about him like actually being looked at not as a human being, but having, you know,
Pinocchio.
feelings and characteristics as a human, so to be treated like more than a thing, right? So, or movies like Ex Machina, where the machine turns into this evil thing and has a mind of its own, and we're seeing stuff like that. Was it Westworld that has this kind of stuff?
For people who don't know Ex Machina, because it's not a big movie, watch it.
Which was great.
It's really good. It's really good. Ex Machina.
But it's
great film.
Yeah, it's all about this machine taking on a mind and a personality of its own, because the people who made it were so intellectually bright and advanced that they gave this machine characteristics and abilities so similar to a human being that it started to have and evolved into its own thing and took over and killed a bunch of people. You know, what if we get to that point? Which, honestly, if you can think it, eventually we'll have something like that, right? So
that's the thing with AI, with artificial intelligence. They're like, well, when does it become
a problem?
When does it become when they can self-think?
Right.
You know, when they don't, you can't just, where you put in a program and it follows the program that a person puts in, because they're doing artificial intelligence where computers, they're trying to design them where they can pass the human test of self-thinking, which is crazy, which is like, I don't even know what to think about that. Like I don't even know, like that's like interesting stuff. That's far out there. I don't think we're far off that.
That's it.
But what I'm interested in is more the closer real world issues of automation. And we're getting back to Andrew Yang and his whole pitch of running for president, which was giving every person in America, I think it was $1,000 or $2,000 a month as a base salary, because they're not going to have a job soon, and you're not going to be able to support yourself, because basically every single job you can think of now, nearly all of them, like, except for acting, but this is cut, like there's you can get holograms now.
Yeah.
You know, they do holograms of famous actors.
Yeah, true.
And get them to, and other person's talking, and there's a hologram of Brad Pitt, and you think it's Brad Pitt, and it looks like Brad Pitt with someone else doing the thing. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So anyway, so there's basically a machine can do any job a person can do, and you can create a machine. If it doesn't exist now, you can create it and build it to do the job that a person does. And over time, it's more cost effective. It's way more cost effective to build a machine to do any job. You don't have to feed it. You don't have to give it a salary. You don't have to pay it sick leave. You don't have to do all this stuff. You just build the machine, service it every now and again, and it's just there for life. And it's doing this task, and it's way cheaper than any person that you can hire, and doesn't give you any grief. And that's the future, and that's what Andrew Yang was talking about. And to me, that's scary, because it's like, what is everyone gonna do? What are you gonna do? You see it already at the supermarkets.
Or McDonald's.
McDonald's are doing it. They're introducing it. All the fast food places are introducing automation now, because they're like, well, the minimum wage is going up, which it has to, because no one can live off $9 an hour. $7 an hour. So it's going up to $15 an hour, which you can sort of live off just like it's maybe doable. Which is, so it's needed. But then the companies are going, well, that eats into our profits, which it does, because they've had their whole thing off. They want their profits a certain amount for their shareholders. So like, we're going to lose, not going to make as much money. How can we make more money? We're going to automate it. And they're automating it right now as we speak. KFC, McDonald's, all the fast foods are getting rid of people, and you're going to just talk to a robot to get your food.
Yeah.
Talk to a machine. So what are those people going to do for a job now? And it's going to get everywhere. Amazon.
You remember, you know
everywhere.
in America, I don't know if it's here. Actually, I've never seen it here, but in America, at some of the grocery stores, particularly like I'm thinking about, you know, where my parents are right now in Boston, a suburb of Boston, Worcester. My dad is my parents, but anyway, there is a machine that travels around to check the aisles to make sure that there isn't any spills or things like that are off the shelves, or if they notice anything a little bizarre, like you know how there's a lot of profiling in stores and in various places where people can purchase stuff. You'll hear about like, oh, I was racially profiled because the store manager kept looking at me as I was putting things into my cart, for example. So to minimize those things, they've got a robot to put its like, you know, to be looking and to put its feelers out to feel if there's anything sort of like sinister or anything a little bit bizarre. And this robot will follow you around.
What?
Yeah, or if it senses something a bit
like
funny.
security.
Like security.
So it's a robot security guard.
Correct. Security guard, and also so like you don't hear anymore like spill on aisle 15 or can we get someone to the front?
Security to aisle 10. Security, you always hear that, don't you?
Yeah, you always do.
I'd even hear that in Kmart in Armidale, in my country town, like you'd hear security. I'm like, why? Yeah, really, we need security. Like you'd always hear it.
So instead of that going over the loudspeaker, or like, can I get a cashier to check out 15? Instead, it's the robot who sends messages. Yes, who sends messages to the team to alert them for problems, as opposed to a real person, and it mitigates having to use someone, number one, and number two, it mitigates things like racial profiling, where it's just about, oh, this person has a lot in their basket. Oh, this person seems to be holding goods in their arm. Ding, 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 you know? And so it'll just kind of be around.
Yeah, boy.
And then when it's out of your hands and in the basket, they're gone.
Man,
it's
So how about this for crazy for supermarkets? There's already supermarkets existing now in the world where you don't have any cash. There's no one that works there. There's no one. There's just shelves of food, and you go in and you take the products off the shelf and you put it into whatever bag you want you're carrying. You walk out of the store and you don't pay for a thing, and everything is tagged, and they've got sensors on everything, and you walk out and it gets deducted from an account you have. So you it's like Uber. You register and you have an account hooked to your credit card, and it can sense what you've taken off the shelves and you're walking out with, and it just automatically gets deducted off your credit card, off your account on that website.
Wow.
So there's no one in there. There's no staff. You don't have to queue up. You don't have to pay for anything. You just take what you want and get out of there. That exists already.
Wow.
So it's like, where are the jobs for those people who would be, like if that happens at all the supermarkets, which very much could happen because they're trialing it at supermarkets, then there's thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people that have lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So what are they doing? Right. Where are they going to pick up skills to transfer?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Everything can be done by a robot. Now, like, or you can design it, like post drones. There's trial areas, literally, where drones are now taking your mail and deliveries to your door with a drone. So Deliveroo, you know, what is it called? Uber Eats, gone. Like the people who ride the bikes, and they're gone. It's a drone now, or it's a bike. It's an automated bike or trolley that takes it there. So they're gone.
Scooter
what jobs do they have now? So it's like, it's so pervasive. It's everywhere that where are the jobs coming from? And where's the policy? What policy are governments going to put in place? Because to me, there's two ways to go about it. You're either going to go as a government, slow down the technology and basically ban it and go, no, drones aren't allowed. Yeah, driverless cars aren't allowed. Those supermarket technology isn't allowed. And you ban progression and you ban technology, which is like crazy to think of. You're banning it, you're stopping innovation. Or to give jobs, or you then governments get really forward thinking, which is like social, you know, Andrew Yang sort of socialist, and going, well, these companies are making so much money, like 4 companies are doing everything now, and they will continue to do everything. No one can work because 4 companies are controlling everything with robots, and no one can get a job. So we're going to tax these companies so much money because they're earning trillions of dollars. That where is it going? So we're going to tax them all that money, and then we're going to distribute that tax to the people, like Andrew Yang, like $1,000, $2,000, and give everyone a salary so you can live, because there is no jobs. And that's the future. And so I agree with Andrew Yang on that front. But it's like, how are we tackling that? And are we getting ahead of the curve, or are we going to be like we always are, catching up? We're always playing catch up. We're never getting ahead. So that's the interesting conundrum, in my view.
Would love to know your thoughts. Would love to know your thoughts. And I honestly, this conversation is scary to me. You know, because it's like, obviously we're going there, and obviously there's a need, but also at what cost? You know, at what cost?
Yeah.
Not everyone can be a scientist. You know, not everyone has a skill set of which is like exemplary and can be used. You know, it's like, what about all the people who are doing soft skill stuff, like, for example, you know, like, we're not going to need them anymore, you know, which is me.
Even chefs, like chefs, there's already robots that cook.
Or prepping.
Like robots can do just about everything. Obviously, there's going to be someone to oversee it and everything, but literally, there's a robot that can do pretty much everything. You know, so many things that we take for granted that a robot is already doing it in some, and they've only got to get the technology more affordable to then lay it out. And once it's affordable and companies go, well, that's actually going to make me more money getting a robot. Companies generally go with what makes them more money, not what's best for mankind. So, you know, and then we love technology as a human race. Like look at this, what we're doing now.
Right.
How good is this? And we think, how good is this? And technology and our phone, and we get wrapped up in it, and we love the new gadget and the latest things. But is it like what cost and reward is there? And it's a really interesting. I don't have the answer to that, but it's just an interesting concept to think about.
Well, that's it for us, folks. If you like what you heard, please like, share, and subscribe. Thanks so much, Kirk, for being with us today.
Thanks, Scott.
Thanks. And we hope to see you next week on the flip side. What? I don't even know what I was trying to say there, but we'll see you next week, and peace.
Oh my God, orange is not my new black.